Hello, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, this is a video that I am doing, and you can see the view of my back garden. But the main reason for this video is basically I know once again, whether you want to call it third world problems or not, first world problems, sorry, not third world, is regarding the cost of living. Now, one of the things that you can clearly see from the window that I am showing you is that it is double glazed. This is a rented house. But when people are talking about the cost of living and how much things are going up, such as the cost for having the essentials that we need to survive, food, warmth, and shelter, one of the main things obviously people are saying is that they cannot afford these three key things, especially with the cold weather that's likely to be setting in over the next few weeks and then obviously the next few months in November, December of 2023, and then probably looking right up to maybe April of 2024. So straight away, I mean, any property that you live in, it needs to breathe. Okay, one of the biggest mistakes that modern people make, in my opinion, is that the reason we're so prone now to infections and coughs and colds is because we do not have the type of immune system that we would have had when we were back in the caveman era, or as we evolved as a species. If you believe in Darwin, this isn't what this is about. But again, we wrap ourselves up, fantastic. Layers are a brilliant way of trying to keep warm, keep safe, keep dry any time of the year. So not just in the winter months, but also in the summer. And the last thing you want to be doing with a property is sealing up the windows, sealing up the doors to the point where you are not allowing any air circulation to come in or access the building, which by doing that can lead to things like mold or damp. So again, as well, if you've not been well, one of the things I always got taught as a child was open the window. You don't have to open it all day. You don't have to open it at night or whatever, but just for a couple of hours, just for about an hour to half an hour a day, open the window just to sort of let the air circulate and sort of out with the old, in with the new type thing. Another way of obviously improving air circulation and impurities within the house is obviously oxygenation. So household plants. But I'm not talking about that at the moment, but it is another option. So straight away you can see from this window that I've removed the curtains. They're up out of the way. And straight away, one of the most logical things to do would be to put a net curtain up, or there are other things that are on the market in today's society to sort of help reduce heat loss from things like windows or flooring. And so straight away, I mean, people are saying they cannot afford their gas and their electric. So what I can't understand is why things like the food banks or the government haven't just said, you know what, we're not going to give you money for gas and electric. We're going to give you money so you can go to town or to a charity shop or to somewhere that sells curtains or nets, so that you straight away, to reduce heat loss, can put a net curtain up with a rail and put up a pair of curtains. So even to make as simple as this, I mean, they're constantly talking about things like bed poverty, but again, nothing about curtains has been highlighted. Curtains are brilliant. They are brilliant during the summer. They are brilliant during the winter. I used to live on a narrowboat, and again, one of the ways that we would try and keep the boat cool was that on the side of the boat that was being hit directly by the sun, you kept the windows closed and you covered the window. And by doing that, it helped to reflect the heat from the property. Because obviously in the summer, you want the house to be cool, but in the winter, you want the house to be warm. So just something simple like getting support in buying a net curtain or a pair of curtains will help. Now, over the past years, I have been criticised. This is my son's room. My son has autism, and he always loves looking out of the window. I've just found his binoculars because where I live, it backs on to a bit like a wildlife area. And he's always sitting in the window on his toy box, looking out to see what birds he can see. He loves seeing the squirrels in the garden. And he is forever pulling the curtains down in his room. But what I've noticed now that he's a little bit older, he is 8, and with the winter setting in, he will actually say to me, "Mom, I'm cold. Can you close my curtains?" But first thing in the morning, he will fling them open. And one of the main problems I used to have with him, not just him, but his other 2 siblings, was they were forever pulling the curtain rails down. So if you do put curtains in your child's room or a blind or nets, please be vigilant and safeguarding. Personally, during the summer, I don't mind if he doesn't have them. I always have to try and, I take them down and then I put them back up before he goes to bed. Because if I leave them in the room, they are like a red flag to a bull. Like with anything with children, it's, I'm going to see if I swing on this, I'm going to be Tarzan. And believe me, the curtain rails, they are not designed to hold the weight of a child. So I can see why people, including myself, have been very apprehensive to maybe put curtains or blinds and things in a child's room. What I have noticed as well with these, although they're strong enough to hold the curtains, the ones I've got, they're not blackout, but they are quite a thick curtain. They were from a charity shop. I think I paid like £5 for them. So you do not have to pay the earth for things. There are places now that are advertising thermal line curtains for under £20. And that may still be a lot of money for people, but the way I look at it is if I could buy thermal line curtains for my child's room and pay £20 for that, then I haven't got to then worry so much about running out in the snow or in the rain to put 20 quid on my meter when it runs out, because I am unfortunately, like most people that rent, metered with my gas and electric, so it doesn't matter with me what time of year it is. I pay the same amount 365 days a year, 7 days a week for my gas and my electric. So personally, I would rather encourage my own children and say, you know what, if you're cold, put on a jumper, put on a pair of socks, put a woolly hat on, because I do not want them to get into the habit of being worried or stressed about constantly having to put on the gas or the electric to keep warm when there are other things such as getting a pair of thermal line curtains or just a pair of curtains to help reduce the amount of heat loss within the house. Now, obviously, because of where the windows are, they're usually on a wall that is always going to be the coldest part of the house. And the way, again, people used to deal with things like this is they would put up tapestries, or as you can see, there's wallpaper on this wall. So again, there are certain tricks that people could do to try and reduce the amount of heat loss out of the property. But again, another thing you should be getting, and for some reason they're not being provided, is a thermometer that you stick on your wall in the room, and providing, this is what I've been told, and it will tell you actually on the thermometer themselves, that the room temperature is not below about 18 degrees Celsius, then that room should be comfortable and warm enough to sleep in, work in, eat in, socialise in. So please, if you are struggling with the cost of living, do your research. There's so much information out there at the moment to support people. And if you can afford them, or if you know of any way or anywhere that you can get a pair of curtains for the winter, or even a net curtain to put up your window, that is one way of helping to reduce the amount of heat loss in a room. But also try and get a thermometer as well. I am so surprised that places like the Citizen Advice Bureau or Warm Hubs or places that support children's services are not distributing these things, because even something simple like having a thermometer on your wall could save your life, because straight away you then know, oh, this room is at 12 degrees, this room is saying it's -1 in here, what's gone wrong? So again, it's about supporting people but educating them at the same time. So I'm only doing this, obviously I'm a mum, I'm not experienced, I don't work for anyone, but from past experience and having children, one of the first things they did give me, this was my midwife, was a thermometer that I could put on the wall in the narrowboat. And then again, I had one in my home, in my child's bedroom, to make sure that the room that my child was sleeping in was at a safe temperature. And if it can work for a brand new newborn baby, it should be the same rule for everybody else. Please leave some comments. Please share this video if you like. Thank you very much, and I wish everybody well.